Hi guys, we are live. Excited to be on YouTube live today, and we'll be talking about how to prepare for AWS Solutions Architect interviews, how to prepare for DevOps interviews, and really how to take interviews. This is going to be amazing. While we're waiting for people to join, I think we have just two persons here waiting for others to join. Hi guys, please share this video, uh, share with others so that they can join us, and also don't forget to leave us comments. We have three persons here. Welcome everyone. Let me see if I can see your names. You can just ping me on the chat here and tell us that you're here. I can see Shella is here. First to be here. Welcome, Shella. Appreciate it. Hey guys, leave us comments to let us know that you're here in the chat section. Yeah, that's how we'll be able to communicate, by just leaving us chats. I see Phil Buki is live. Welcome, live from Atlanta. Welcome. I appreciate you joining. Please share the link to the live session so that others can join, and also indicate in the group, in our chat group, that we are live so that others can join us in this session. So I'll just give it a couple of moments for others to join. We have Vanessa Chami. She's joining from Texas. Welcome, Vanessa. Excited to have you. Let's give it just a few moments for others to join us so that we can. So Shella is joining us from Maryland. Welcome, Shella. We appreciate you joining. This is going to be an exciting session, guys. And we will literally help you in your process of landing your second job, third, fourth or fifth or sixth job, whatever it is in the cloud space or in IT in general, right? So this is really just preparing anybody for interviews. There are people who've been interviewing for 20 years, but they still have challenges when it comes to interview preparation. So we just want to help get you to that point where you can confidently take interviews without any issues, without stress. Like, so we have 8 persons who have joined us. Guys, share so that others can join. We'll be starting in 1 more minute. In a minute we'll be here. We have Desmond joining from Cameroon. Welcome, Desmond. We appreciate you joining. Just ping us, let us know whoever you are and wherever you're joining from, so that we can have a great discussion. And also, guys, just type your questions. You may have had questions in the past in the comment section. That's how we'll be responding to whatever you have. So you just type the question, and I'm right here reading it. I'll be able to respond to the questions as we go along. All right, so have 1 more minute to go, and we'll just get started here. Everything is here. Even if someone is joining later, they can always watch this video again, to hear what we're discussing about. And all your challenges, put them in the comment section, guys. I'll be responding to all of them. And we always have real life sessions on Zoom where you can actually take a real interview. We'll schedule those sessions again, coming up maybe next Sunday or so. But today it's kind of a one-way in terms of speaking, but you have the comment section to drop your comments. Next session will be a Zoom live where we'll do real interviews for those who are interested. We have done Parma joining from Pennsylvania. Okay, welcome from Pennsylvania. Excited to have you. All right, so guys, let's get started. No time to waste. So the very first thing that you need to understand when you're dealing with aid with IT interviews in general, we'll be coming to DevOps, we'll be coming to AWS. The very first thing to understand is that you're dealing with an industry that is out to solve problems. That's the first thing you have to understand. You're dealing with an industry that is out there to solve problems for organizations. So the mindset of interviewers is that they are going out there to get someone who is capable of solving problems. That's it. That's why companies are hiring you. They are not hiring you to pay you. Paying you is just sharing the benefits that they get from the value that you bring to the company. That's it. They pay you just because you bring value. And if you're not able to bring value, no one will hire you. I won't hire somebody who will come and be a liability to the company, right? That's it's normal. You can't hire if you're a cook and you're looking for someone who will cook for you, or a chef or somebody, and you go get a chef who does not know who every time puts more salt in the food than what is expected, and all the customers are running away. I think you would drop that chef. It's the same thing. They won't hire somebody who would come and bring the company down. So they are looking for people who can bring value to the organization. That's the general principle. That's the general idea. They are looking for people who they can invest in. They can hire people from colleges, people who come out of colleges, but they want to look at you and see, hey, is this person someone who can bring a lot of value in the future? We can invest in you quite all right now, since you are just a college hire, and with the hope that you will bring value to our company, that the investment that we're putting on you will will bring value in the future, right? That's why companies even would go out to do college hires. So the general principle is you are hired because you are needed. You will bring value. And so if you put yourself in a position where you're not able to bring value to the company, no one will hire you. That is the very first principle. In IT, it's all about value. If you're valuable in anything, actually, if you're valuable, you're hireable. That is it, right? If you're valuable, you're hireable. That is the very first principle. Um, we start with. Hi guys, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the likes, and let's get going, right? So the first thing is you want to bring value to an organization. And so when interviewers are going out there, they have it at the back of their minds that we want someone who can help solve a particular problem that the organization is facing. And so if I'm going out there to hire an AWS solutions architect, what am I looking for? I'm looking for someone who would come and solve the problems that I'm facing as an organization in terms of maybe my infrastructure. Maybe I've set up my networking, my VPCs, or maybe I have a new AWS account, or the organization has needs to move to AWS. And so, they have been comparing different cloud providers, and they they have figured out, hey, AWS is the most used, it's efficient, it's all these beautiful things. And we want somebody who can come help us move our infrastructure from on-premise environment to AWS. And so they go out searching. So what are the capabilities of that type of person? The person needs to understand that applications run on premise on what? On servers, right? And there are databases attached to applications. There are these parts of applications that are joined together. And so if they are putting in a job description, that job description has to have somebody who understands servers, who understands networking, somebody who understands databases and how they function, how you can move a database from one location to another, how you can migrate a database and make it available in another engine somewhere, right? So they're looking for somebody with that specific skill set. And so they put a job description out with those skill sets, right? With those particular skill sets. And if you are a solutions architect and you don't have those skill sets, such that you can help somebody, a company that's looking to migrate to AWS, to do that transition. nobody would hire you. They will come interview you, discuss the services that you know in AWS, you discuss S3, you discuss RDS in general, and at the end, nobody will hire you. Why? Because their job description clearly stated that they're looking for somebody with these things, right? And you can't do that just like that. They want you to do it using maybe infrastructure as code so that it is maintainable. And so they'll be expecting somebody who understands infrastructure as code, who can deploy stuff in AWS. They'll be looking for somebody who has that experience, who has done it before, right? They don't want to experiment with you because the organization's assets are too valuable. If you come in and delete data, the organization is lost. It, it's 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 fallen out of business. And so they are looking for somebody who has experience. And that's where the concept of evidence of work and proof of work come in. So this is a framework. I'm putting, I don't know if I'm putting this framework together, but you have to be able to show evidence of your work, to show proof of your experience, to show that you have that experience that it takes to be able to do that. And how do you get that experience to migrate applications to AWS? How do you get that experience to understand databases? How do you get that experience, that networking experience? You get that experience from doing it. And so what stops you from have in your, as you're doing your project, as you're practicing and all that, what stops you from practicing how to migrate whole applications? I'm not talking of just a database. Migrate whole applications from on-premise environments to AWS. There are different types of applications. For someone who is an AWS solutions architect, you know that there are applications that are microservices, and so they have data. They could have the database as a container itself. They could have the application itself as another container, or they could have multiple services that are distributed in different containers or in different things, right? As microservices. And there are applications that are monolithic applications that are just bundled together as one. And so you need to understand how to move those types of applications, the different types of applications, either be them monolithic, be them microservices, how to move them from on-premises environments to a cloud environment like AWS. So in your practice session, therefore, or in your struggle to prepare for interviews, you need to identify those things. Say, hey, all right, there's this type of migration, there's this type of migration, there's this type of migration. And you figure out, how do I do it? And you start doing it. Get an on-premise server, install a server on whatever. You can use another platform as your on-premise environments. Use Google as your on-premise environments. Use Dropbox as your on-premise environment or your on-premise servers. Stand up an application, a monolithic application on there. There are so many videos out there. I have videos on this same YouTube channel showing you how to migrate, particular applications. You could have those together. Migrate on-premise applications, be they microservices or monolithic applications, migrate the database parts and move them to AWS. Replicate that solution that is on-premise in AWS. By doing that, you're garnering that experience. You're gathering the experience and harnessing that proof. So you're basically having proof of work, evidence of work, right? So it's you don't just go into interviews and you are just you just begin talking about services. When you have that experience, when you've practiced it, you go in there and say, hey, yes, I've done migrations. These are the various steps that I took in helping this organization migrate to AWS. They were looking for someone before hiring me. They were looking for someone who was capable with the capabilities, or rather, of migrating an application or migrating the applications that they had on premises to AWS. What were these applications? They were microservices that they had, and these services were all about analytics. This. You kind of link those things together. The interviewer understands that, hey, this person, he understands what migrating an application means. It's just not all about migrating a database. He understands that there needs to be a database piece. There needs to be that networking. And you tell them, hey, these are the ports I opened up because the application was exposed in port this, and this is how I figured it out in AWS. That interviewer already understands that this person has experience on what he's talking about. Proof of work, evidence of work. Very important. So, as a solutions architect, for instance, when going into an interview, you want to be prepared. How do you prepare for interviews? Therefore, it's a very important thing. I see a lot of people focus only on they pay attention only to the core services that they did during their training, during their whatever. That is important. You cannot be the same like others. So let's take for instance, uh, you trained with other people. You had a class. You did AWS solutions architecting with people, or DevOps engineering with people, and you guys were 600 in class, and all of you are looking for the same type of job, right? What distinguishes you from the 599 others? What distinguishes you? Because out there you would apply for jobs with 50 orders, with 200 orders, with 300 orders. What distinguishes you? Even if you are selected because your resume looks beautiful, what distinguishes you during that interview phase from the 99 orders, from the 200 orders? You have to have something unique. You have to have something that convinces the interviewer that you know what you're talking about. And so when you're going into an interview, you want to have, in fact, preparing for an interview, you have to have this at the back of your mind, that you're going in for an interview because you want to bring you want to be a solution to a problem that the organization has. You want to bring a solution to the problem that the organization has. And so the job description should tell you what to prepare for an interview. So when you look at your job description, you have to necessarily know the core areas. And they usually say that this thing is required, this skill set is required, this one is required. How do you gain a cross section of those skills? You gain them by learning the core components of IT. The core components of IT. You cannot be in IT without understanding the core components of IT. How do you understand the core components of IT? Very simple. First of all, there is the database part. And so you necessarily have to learn what database management systems are. It is not about creating an RDS instance in AWS. Anybody can do that. Anybody who can watch a video and side by side create an RDS instance and connect to it in AWS. And so when you're studying RDS in AWS, that is not database management systems. You've learned about you've learned a little bit about databases, but that's not database management systems. And so you need to learn the core components of IT, and they include the database management systems, the types of databases that are out there. So you need to learn that there are videos, real good videos on YouTube on database management systems. You have relational database management systems. So if you can spend some time, put some time out, do a schedule, a study schedule, right? And say, all right, um, the first 2 weeks are dedicated to relational database management systems. And you go deep into relational database management systems. Understand how data modeling works. Because if you don't understand that, there's no way you'll be able to connect concepts when you're talking to a real seasoned interviewer. There's no way you will. And so you have to understand how database management works, the various things that make up a database management system. And you have to know that there are NoSQL databases, there are relational bases that use the normal typical SQL. There are databases and storage environment. So you have to distinguish between databases and typical storage like S3, blob storage, and all those type of storages. And then try to gather as much knowledge as possible in those types of databases. And so when you're talking about relational databases, you first of all have to understand how data is modeled, how tables are formed. the business ideas behind a table. So take for instance, you have a product table. Why should the table have 20 columns instead of 2 columns? Why should a table have 10 columns instead of 5? Why should there be a primary key to a table? Those are some of the typical things you begin to think about. And how is table A related to table B? Why is it even called a relational database system? Right? So when learning those things, you begin to understand what they are, the core components, what makes up that, how you can enforce security in a relational database management, how you can you manage data in those places, how you manage schemas, how you deal with indexes and all of those things. Take some time and study that component of IT. You cannot do without it. Then the second component is the networking component. Very important. For other services to connect together, you need to understand that component of IT, the networking. The things are interconnected. All the parts are interconnected. So you first of all have to understand the whole networking protocol, the 7 layers of the networking protocol, or the 7 layers of networking. You have to understand the various protocols. When you are doing SSH and you're connecting to another server somewhere, why are you using port 22? It is a layer in the networking structure. When you're going to a web browser, why are you using HTTP? Why are you opening port 80? Why do you have to secure the URL you're connecting on? Why do you have to understand those things, because you are using a layer of connection. How does data even move from one place to another? The transport layer in a networking structure. So you have to study the networking structure. Just go out. There's so many videos out there talking about networking, and you need to understand the various layers. Once you've understood those layers, and you're doing a connection and you're talking to somebody, you're creating a VPC in AWS, or you're creating a VPC in Azure and Google, you understand what you're doing. It's not you're creating a network structure for yourself and you're carving it out such that your devices or the resources you create can exist within a network area that you've carved out. And so once you understand the general principles on networking, it becomes way easier for you once you are really creating those resources in AWS. And when you're talking to an interviewer, the interviewer understands that this person knows what they are talking about. So, guys, that's the second. That's the second component, right? Then you have to learn the server component. It's absolutely important. Learn that applications are deployed on servers or on, depending on the type of applications. If they are microservices, they could be deployed on clusters or on systems like Kubernetes, or containerized environments like Docker, right? And Docker runs on containerized environments like ECS. Like you could run it on a normal Docker environment, Docker installed on your local machine. You could run it on any environment that has Docker, right? And so on. And so you have to understand those systems, what makes up a containerized environment, the various layers in containerization. You have to understand that structure, and to be able to understand in fact, the application part of a deployment. So you necessarily have to study the core components of IT. Once you've done that, trust me, the rest become so easy. The rest become so easy. And you can literally grow in your career. And so the first thing I would say to prepare for interviews is go back to the drawing board. Go back, study the various structures, data structures, study the various relational databases. Very important. And in doing that, you will learn how you communicate with a database. SQL. You cannot be a solutions architect without knowing SQL. It's impossible. I remember I've interviewed a lot of people, and they're and I, because the way I interview for the organizations I work for, I I walk you through the whole process. I give you the opportunity to work with me, and I bring you back when you're going astray. I tell you, hey, This is it's a discussion. I discuss along with you. I'll bring you to the various part. I will see how you can design a system. So my structure, my interview structure is this. I go start with hey, yeah, tell me about yourself. We are still coming to that section. We'll discuss about it. Tell me about yourself. When you're done telling me about yourself, I then um you know tell you to describe any project you've worked on, anything you've designed. Tell me any project, like your experience, maybe from the tell me about yourself. I picked out something. I worked as this, I deployed clusters, I did this, and then I'll pick on that and say, hey, can you expatiate on this? From there, we'll discuss and discuss, and I will want to go to the fundamentals of IT. I will take you a little bit into SQL just to understand how you will relate with a database. Because as a solutions architect, even as a DevOps engineer, you need to understand how databases work and how to communicate with them. And then I'll take you to simple syntax, how to select data from a database, or how to get data information from a database. Select statements. I'll make you to create a simple join, right? Inner joins, left, outer, any type of joins. Will make you to create a simple join to get data. So you have to understand the basic syntax of SQL. Absolutely important. There's so many great videos out there on YouTube that when I see them and then I discuss with people and they are not even able to, some do not even understand what SQL is all about. I've had an interview and somebody was not able to tell me what SQL is. And they were interviewing for a solutions architect role. You can't get a job with that kind of, um, you know, that kind of preparedness, I would say. So it's absolutely important, guys. So once you've learned SQL, you need to understand Python, basic Python, because it's what you use as a solutions architect in your Lambda functions, in your scripts, in whatever you're doing. And things have become so easy, guys, that I'm like, wow, everybody can do this. There is Chat GPT available there. You just need you would need only your variables to change in most things now. In most of the things that AWS Solutions Architect do, it's simple scripting. And ChatGPT right now has everything. There are scripts online everywhere that you just need to modify. You have scripts for to do every task that a solutions architect can be asked to do. There's script for everything. And so, guys, the way you study determines how your interviews will go. You have to go back to the drawing board, study those important concepts, those basic principles in IT. Once you've understood them, apply them by practicing, by doing. There are so many uh, like I'm amazed at the opportunities that companies like AWS offer trainers or people learning, right? Because they basically have projects for every step of what they have out there. Projects for analytics, projects for uh, broken down into the various subsections. Projects for databases, if you want to practice on databases, how to deploy applications, how to do everything. Those projects are out there. And so once you've understood those, begin to deal in projects, realize projects, spend time doing projects, learn and let them fail. And you reach out for help. There are a lot of people out there who are available to help you if you something is failing, guys. And so practice. Spend the $5 and practice. Even if it will cost you $5, $10, practice, practice, practice. It is that practice that will make you to be able to discuss fruitfully with somebody who is in the field, who is working. So, guys, these things are absolutely important. That's the first thing when it comes to preparing for interviews. As a DevOps engineer, how do you prepare for interviews? You prepare for interviews by building those pipelines, guys. You cannot do DevOps without knowing how to seamlessly build pipelines, how to deploy the various types of applications like those I just mentioned. You have to know how to deploy them in GitLab, in GitHub, using GitHub Actions, using Jenkins. You need to understand the structure of a Jenkins file. You need to understand the structure of of jobs in GitHub Actions. You need to understand the structure of how to put together a a continuous deployment, a continuous a pipeline that is automated. There's no way you would do those things and successfully have a job without understanding that. Understand Kubernetes. If you can take time, like you can take 2 months, 3 months, and become an expert in Kubernetes. And you know what? They are looking for experts in Kubernetes out there. There are companies looking for experts in Kubernetes. You can literally take time, put yourself together 2 months. Every day you put in 4 hours in Kubernetes, or 3 hours, or 2 hours at least, if you want to really be good at Kubernetes. Put those hours, become an expert in Kubernetes, throw your resume out there and see something. So, guys, it's about really dedicating, putting some effort to know these things and know them well. And when you're talking with an interviewer, they know that this person knows his thing. They immediately they talk with you, they realize it. Right. So that's the next thing we need to do, guys. We need to be able to be intentional. And when I'm talking about you being a part of from others, you having something different than others, right? What do I mean? Right. So take for instance, all of you have studied AWS, and of course, you've taken into consideration the points that I've mentioned, the various components of IT. You've done that, and then you are still within the rounds. Let's say you apply 200 of you in a company. 100 of you have done basic structures. You understand all that and all that. What next should put you apart from those 100? Is the next thing. It's the next thing you want to tackle when preparing for interviews. That's the next thing you need to tackle. And so I have some comments here. Very correct, Prof. Yes. Vanessa is asking, please, I would love to know how to prepare your answers for a technical interview, or how do you simply prepare for a technical interview? Yes, this is exactly what we're doing, Vanessa. So we're discussing how to prepare. Sorry. And so, guys, it it takes a little bit of effort to be able to do this, right? And so what puts you apart from the 100 others after you've done the basic structures? So, guys, hit the comment sections. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumb ups, invite others. Let us get this going. Invite people. You can share this on your status, the link on your status, because people will need to join the link to be able to access this, and leave us comments and your questions. I'm coming to the questions section. So what will put you apart from the 100 others? The very first thing is that you need a, a service or a tool or something else in your resume that is different from the typical things that you have out there. So take for instance, I did a video on Amazon Connect, and some people have not even looked at the Amazon Connect. Some people have never heard about Amazon Connect, but they're AWS solutions architects. That's a simple service. They don't treat it in class. You will not see it in an AWS solutions architect class, because it's not even in the syllabus for AWS certifications. And so you want to go an extra mile and learn something different and something that is demanding. If you look at the jobs out there on Amazon Connect, you'll be amazed. But there are no video, nobody is even thinking about that. Many people don't even know it's existing. Pick up a tool like that, Amazon Connect, and become an expert in it. And look at and go out there, look for jobs that are typically specific to Amazon Connect, that have Amazon Connect as a big thing. There are companies, a lot of them out there, looking to implement call centers, support centers, where people, most of the organizations out there have support centers, and most of them are looking, who are AWS, in the AWS space, are looking to move to to the Amazon Connect service, to have their centers run by the Amazon Connect service. And so you can distinguish yourself by picking up a tool like that one, a service like that, and becoming an expert in it. It's not just learning how to create, like just create and then you're done. It's learning how to become an expert in it. How do you do that? by using it, practicing, connecting the service, pay the $5, the $10 that it may cost you, and do it. Become an expert in the tool. Put it in your resume. That is what will distinguish you. And when you're discussing it, say, "Hey, I've built this," because you've experienced it. You've spent a little money to build it out, to build a connect center, to build a support center. A support center, you could build a support center and actually use it with others. Assign agents are like people, and assign phone numbers and so on, and actually make calls within your little study groups. Become an expert in something like that and put it in your resume and see something. You have calls for people who want to hire you because of exactly that. Most people get hired not because of all what you have on your beautiful things you have on your resume. No, just because of one little thing that you had in there that captured them. And when you are talking about it and you can talk about it like somebody with good knowledge on it, trust me, you get it. You get hired. So great job, Primus. Welcome, Aziz. Appreciate you, Bilal. Thanks for joining. Uh, I see Elvis there. Great job, Primus. Thanks, Elvis. Appreciate it. Hello from Kenosha. Thanks for joining from Kenosha. That's Wichin Wienga. Appreciate you joining. So, guys, it learn something that is apart from the typical things that you learn, right? So go out there and figure out there are a lot. So why can't you be an expert in IoT, AWS IoT? AWS has IoT services. You can put yourself apart by learning those IoT services, and you become very needed in the energy sector in the market. That's a trick right there. Learn something apart. Why not learn the AWS services for blockchain? Blockchain is a big thing now. It is making waves in IT. Learn the AWS services for blockchain and become an expert in it. Learn how those tools connect. Do the practice sessions. Do the AWS. Every service that AWS has a project that they have built. Has a project, a sample project. They have sample project on AWS project, AWS Builder or whatever. There are different. Opportunities that AWS offers, and you can take those things. There are call them mini kind of boot camps or working sessions that AWS offers on their websites. Use those opportunities. I usually just share those links, and some people do not consider them. They are absolutely important, guys. So Solid Man is saying, does one need to the AWS Solution Architect certification before getting a job as an Amazon Connect engineer or developer? Actually, when I'm hiring, I don't consider a certification. When I see certificate, it's beautiful in your resume, but that's not it. I don't hire you because of a certification, whether you have or not. There are some companies that specify that they need it. That's good. So having it is good, right? Because you have more opportunities to get called for interviews. But I don't hire for certifications. I hire you because you prove that you have evidence of work, proof of work. You're proving that you're able to do the job. If you prove to me that you're able to build an Amazon Connect center, and it's efficient, and the queues that you're building, the templates that you've built out there are amazing, trust me, you're hireable. Why won't I? Most companies now do not go for certifications anymore. They don't go just for to have I have the practitioner certificate. Oh, I'm good. I have the solutions architect. Oh, I'm good. I have the DevOps solution professional. The DevOps this. So many people have those certifications out there, but they don't even know how to do anything in AWS or in Azure or in GCP. They don't even know how anything works. So, guys, it's not about the certifications. It is about knowing how to do it. So I was saying that services like blockchain, AWS has so many blockchain services that you can learn and become a master in and include in your AWS as a solutions architect. So you'll be a kind of solutions architect who is focused on blockchain. You can become a solutions architect who has a tilt towards Amazon Connect or Connect centers. And you also can go out there and learn about other services that are used on premise. Cisco connects centers, how Cisco builds its connect centers. And you become a niche expert, right? You become an expert in centers, and organizations can begin to hire you to even come in and implement um, Amazon Connect in their systems, in their whatever. There are so many people looking for people with those skill sets. You can even make it a job. That's actually something you can open a small company for yourself. You can there are companies out there in India. I know a lot about India because I've worked with a lot of Indians in India, and they're just support centers. That's all they do. Open a support center, have agents around them, have maybe 10 agents. Agents are just people, users in Amazon Connect, and you give them numbers, you assign numbers because the Amazon Connect gives you the opportunity to assign numbers, US numbers if you want, or any other number. Assign them, and you become a support center. And so organizations can come out and hire you to provide that service. When a customer comes on their website, you are the one to route it to the right person. You are the ones, the agents are the ones to make a first contact with them, talk with them, or maybe the company is routing tickets and you're the one routing to whatever, and so on, for resolution, and so on and so forth. You can literally make a business out of it. There are services like the transcribe service in AWS. I did a small video on that, and I was showing how to transcribe text, rather videos and audios, any recording, anything, to text format, right? You could learn those things, include them in your resume. There are companies that deal in streaming, a lot of data streaming, videos and so on. You could learn that and add that. It will become a motivation. Learning it doesn't mean you just go and learn and click create, then delete, and you're like you're a hero already. No, learning it means you have to learn how it works in the industry itself, how the transcription business works. Learning it means going and seeing how it operates on premise, companies that use that solution, companies that use that service. Learning it means really putting your hands dirty in that service, in that particular service, before you can include it and become an expert, and call yourself an expert in that field. And you can actually put it in the description section that you are an expert in blah 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 of your in your resume, and those companies that use that will come for you. That's a strategy. There are a lot of services. You can become a solutions architect who is focused on energy. There are so many companies that are energy based, and AWS so many services, machine learning services that are f- focused on energy companies and so on. You can become an expert in machine learning side of AWS. Learn those tools. If you are somebody who is good with Python, and you like your languages, you can learn them. And all you need to do is gain good knowledge on how to create those services, how to run the services, how to use the AWS services that are out there. And they always have projects. AWS has projects on those things. All right, so that's it about you know having additional things that will separate you from typical other people, like who are interviewing for the same job. So you want to become an expert in something, and that thing should become what you really talk about when you are talking to that interviewer who is from the company that has that service, or who has that in their job description. That's what you should focus on. So during your interview, you want to hit hard on the projects that you did for the Amazon Connect, if your niche is Amazon Connect, for machine learning, if your niche is machine learning, for IoT, if your niche is IoT, and for blockchain, if your niche is blockchain. So you want to really hammer on it a little bit if they had that in their job description. That's absolutely important. And this brings me, guys, to the way you answer the question tell me about yourself. Because the way you phrase it, the way you put it out there is exactly what will tell the. In fact, when I speak with people, with when I'm doing interviews, and I give you your 5 minutes to tell me about yourself. Some people usually, normally, it should be like, I just say, hey, tell me about yourself. They decide whatever. Some people talk for 10 minutes and just throw me off, and I'm done. Sometimes I just switch off. I'm doing some other thing, and I just come and like, oh, okay, right. It when ask you to tell me about yourself, it is a time to sell yourself. You are the boss going into an interview. I see people going into interviews and they are timid and they're like, oh my goodness, um, am I? uh, I'm so afraid. When you are already defeated, how can you go in to be interviewed and you're already defeated? So there's a question here. There's one needs. Oh, so also I wish to ask if you will be offering any training on Amazon Connect. I have a video on Amazon Connect. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yes, we can put something together to work on the Amazon Connect service. So I hear people, they're like, "Oh, I'm timid." They come into an interview already shaking. You've defeated yourself. The thing is this, guys. We know that, before going for an interview, they have sent you an email. That email contains either the name of the interviewer, or you will discover it there. Know that there are two types of interviews. There are interviews, you know, that are specific to, well, different people interview differently. Most organizations, most AWS DevOps jobs, they're interviewed. Your interviews, you get Americans doing the interviews and so on. It's nice. You go in there. They have a way of interviewing. And other IT things, you have people interviewing from different places with different cultures. The cultural aspect influences your interviews. Somebody with a British background, or a British background of education, or with who had the British system of education, would interview you differently from someone who had an American system of education. Their education, right? It was American, the other British, and so on and so forth. The other French. They have different ways of interviewing. And so once you go into an interview, I always try to see, hey, what kind of interview? If somebody is from Asia or from India or from the UK, I know that this person will bring me a lot of theories. This person will come asking me to define things. And so you have to put, when you're preparing for that type of interview, you have to put emphasis on details, on a lot of details as far as definitions, the things are concerned. As far as components, can you tell me the components of of um of EKS? Can you tell me what ingress is? Can you tell me what this is, and so on and so forth? So you have to put emphasis when preparing for that type of interview on those, right? And then you have to tell them how all of them work. Details. Those guys, they like details because of the way they study. The study system there is different, and so they expect you to cram things, to memorize things, to just like that. Chat GPT is here now to save you. Save those who are smart, those who know. You have to be smart going into an interview. I can be talking to you and typing, and you don't even know that I'm typing while I'm doing a search on ChatGPT. ChatGPT is out here to help you. Nobody is stopping you from using ChatGPT to get your job. Nobody is stopping you. Everybody who interviews prepares, and that's you preparing. Even the best interviewer, they have to put their thoughts together. They have to put their things together. Have your little cheat sheets. ChatGPT is your cheat sheet. Everybody has it. Have your little cheat sheets around you. Have your little bots, around you, with definitions on things. Stickers. Have your stickers around. You know, if somebody goes into an interview and they're blind for a moment, it's like the mind goes bleak, right? So you have to have a reminder or something that can remind you. If you're that type of person who is going in an interview already tensed, right? So you want to have some cheat sheets. You want to have some of those things. And as I was saying, Going in for an interview for the tell me about yourself section, you need to be confident about you. You need to be confident. You need to be firm because you are they are trying to hire you. They are trying to bring you. He's not coming to frighten you. When I come into an interview and I tell somebody, hey, I don't know about this, and he's insisting, or I tell them what I know about it and he's insisting, I am like, that's my experience. I'm sharing you my experience. And you have the right to drop and tell him, hey, I'm dropping because I feel that you're not fair with me. You're the master of an interview. Uh, And then you go into an interview and you're timid. No, you don't have to be timid going into an interview. It's your interview. You are the protagonist, call it. You are the main character. And so they want you to share your experience and let them judge whether you're a good fit. They're not coming to intimidate you. No, nobody should intimidate you in an interview. And so when they ask you to tell them about you, it is an opportunity for you to trace your your work history as relates to the job you're interviewing for. So if I'm interviewing for you as a DevOps engineer, you want to tell me your history, your job. You want to trace me your job history in relation to DevOps, how you became a DevOps engineer. So, for instance, you look at your resume, right? You tell me how you you know your from your first job, how that what you were doing for that first job. You're telling me in a few seconds. I don't want you to describe the whole thing. The first job, then how you transitioned to the next job. Oh, I was a business analyst. um I worked for company A because it's listed on your resume. Just say what is on your resume. uh, I was charged with designing business intelligence dashboards or analysis for this for company A, and then had this opportunity. Maybe we're migrating to the cloud, and I had that opportunity to train and be part of that team that was helping migrate applications to AWS, and so that's how my AWS journey started. And then from with the experience I got there, and another position opened up, and I moved to the role of a support AWS support somebody, which is like the second thing that you have on your resume, the second title, your AWS solutions, blah blah blah. And here I was charged with doing this and this and this. Then I had a better opportunity out there for solutions architect, and I moved there. And this company was looking for someone to help build their data Amazon Connect center. And I came in. If the job is about the Amazon Connect, right? I came in and helped build the queues and all of this for this organization. This is how I set it up. And after that, I moved to my current role because I saw a better opportunity, or I needed some. I moved from where I was. It was an on-premise role, so I saw an opportunity for a remote role with company this, which is your current company. And currently, this is what I'm doing. The company, and you hammer again on what you're doing with your use case. That will not take you 3 minutes max. That's telling somebody about yourself. It doesn't. Don't go and nail yourself on something. Don't talk about the service that you don't know, because if you talk about it, that's what they'll hammer on. When you tell them about yourself, they'll pick some of those things. Some people are interviewing you. I've had like many interviews because over my career, I've interviewed a lot. Just every year, I interview a lot of people. So some interviews, I don't even have the resume of the person in front of me. Yeah, I've had those interviews. My recruiters will just send and say, hey, sorry, can you jump on this quick interview for us? Sorry, we didn't da, da, da," and I will jump. Maybe you're just jumping to replace an interviewer who could not make it, and so on. And I go in there, I don't have your resume in front of me. So what I have is what you tell me, and I'm interviewing you about it. And sometimes the interviewers forget to give us the recruiters forget to give us the job description. And so that's an opportunity for you to sell yourself, to make, you know. So once you've talked about the service that you know, that's where I'll be like, okay, let's discuss about that service. And now I just want to know your experience about it, and then know how you can solve some problems that you could encounter in the process of doing that. And I will throw in little things there, right? Like, okay, you've talked to me about IAM, and I just throw in a question on All right. Can you tell me, have you worked with an organization that has like 3, 5, 7, 8, 11 AWS accounts? And you say yes. I say, oh, okay. Can you tell me your strategy on how, data moves or whatever, how these accounts connect together? Do you have services that run in account A that account C would want to access? How do you grant that access? And then we'll start the discussion on cross account access, and it's relating back to IAM, right? You can That's a whole discussion. And if you don't even know about cross account access, you don't even know about STS assume roles, then you are lost, right? And I know that, hey, this person probably, there's something lacking, and I already have something in mind about you. So be able to talk about the services that you know very well and you know the ins and outs. You're comfortable in your discussion. And so it's very important. So your tell me about yourself is not and that's the most important part of the interview. And that's where you can shoot yourself on the foot. That's where you can really kill yourself. You go in there and you're like, oh yeah, I've worked on ECS. I'm a master in ECS. I use this service to do this and that. VPCs, I'm good in VPCs. Some people just go in and they are calling the names of all. I had an interview with somebody. He spent about 7 minutes, I think 7 minutes. Say, oh no, I've used this service. I was like, wow, you've used the whole AWS. You're a master in AWS, man. And so when I just started, like, just connecting one service to the next, he was done. So the first thing is talk only about the things that are relevant. Don't go there ranting. Maybe the interviewer was not even interested in VPCs, and you went in there and you were hammering about VPCs, and maybe he is an expert in VPCs. Then he nails you. So you have to talk only about what you're very comfortable, what you are like. It's your thing. In that introductory section. Hello, Primos and everyone. Hey, welcome, Helen. Excited to have you. All right. So talk about the service you are so confident about, guys. In that introductory section, to tell me about yourself. It is that simple. Trace a history of what is on your resume. That's it. Make a summary of that resume, but with attention to what you know very well. That's it. With attention to what you know very well. So it's about, hey, um, I worked in company ABC. I started off as a business analyst. I started off as a business intelligence developer, as a customer service representative. And in this role, I was in charge of receiving calls, incoming calls, outbound calls, and we were using this system. You can even talk about the system you guys were using. So the person already knows that, hey, this person is IT inclined. And the system was set up with maybe Amazon Connect or Cisco or something. You know about the tools. You can just learn about the tools that they use, customer service, whatever, or analysts use, and so on. You're using this type of database and all that, right? And once you've traced that first thing a few seconds, you have to link it up to your next job. How you maybe you finish your training, right? You move to how you moved to the current job or to the next job before your current job. Just the number of jobs that you have on your resume should determine how that goes, right? So how you moved maybe from an analyst role or a customer service role to become a DevOps engineer. You didn't just fall from somewhere, right? So you say maybe you look for a transition phrase or a transition moment. So you could say you had the opportunity to your organization was offering opportunities for people to upgrade or to do all of that, and then you chose to do that training, and you upgraded to being a support engineer for the AWS services that were in the organization. And after that, you had a better opportunity to work out of the organization as a solutions architect. You see, you've traced a transition for yourself. And then you can say, hey, in this second company, they were really a shop that was dealing on maybe on uh, you were just a data analytics company focused on data analytics, and you were charged with building pipelines, right? Pipelines connecting data, moving data from one place to another. You guys use Redshift and blah, 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 and then you focus a little bit on that, and you move from there and go to your current role. Why did you go to your current role? You need to trace that little history there. You move to your current role because maybe you were moving from one city to the next. You have to have that transition. How did you transition to your current role? Or maybe the opportunity was just amazing and you move to your current role. Now, why are you out looking? You're currently looking because maybe the company is demanding that you work at night. That's something that you work hours, and you're currently maybe studying for your masters if you're studying, or you're currently doing this, and the work hours do not really fit you because you guys have migrations that occur at night at 10 a.m. at night, oh, 10 p.m. at night, sorry, not 10 a.m., 10 p.m. at night, and it's kind of clashing with your study time, and so you're out here looking to get something that's already a history you've traced for yourself. The history you trace for yourself doesn't necessarily have to be what is, because if you go and tell them, all right, you're looking for a better for an opportunity with that pays pays more than, they'll be like, this guy is just interested in the money. But of course, everybody is interested in the money. That's why people are out there interviewing. They want the money, but you will not just directly say to them that you want the money. So guys, you must be smart. That's where the smart part of this thing comes in. There's no way you get a job without being smart. This industry is about benefits. Everybody wants to benefit. The company hiring you, they want to benefit. Amazon wants to benefit. The Googles want to benefit. They are not hiring you because they like your face, you are nice, you speak gently, you are a community person, you are outgoing, you're sociable, you speak two languages, you're nice eyes. Never. Nobody hires you for that. Whether you look, I don't know. If they want to hire you, they will be hiring you because of your contribution, the value you bring in. It's not your face, it's not how you look, it's not your color, it's not where you come from. If you are in the remotest part of Africa or Asia or whatever, and you are so good in Kubernetes, they will fish you out from where you are and bring you to work for organizations that need you because you are valuable. It doesn't matter where you are, guys. So when I speak to people, they are like, "Oh, no, I'm here. I've been struggling. I'm here. I don't know. I know your location in this generation, in the kind of world we are in right now. Your location doesn't matter. If you have impeccable skill sets in one thing or in two of those things or three, they will bring you out of there and give you good money. It's not because they like you. No. It's because they'll tell you that they like you, or they like your skills. They like the value you bring. And so, guys, it's about the value. And so be smart when you go into to interview. Don't just be that yes, sir. No, sir. You get played with. Even your negotiations, when you're negotiating money, you negotiate for your best interest. Even the organization, they will look for the best way to give you the least amount, and you should look for the best way to get the maximum amount, the most amount of money. So if you see a role out there and the company comes to you, they say, "Oh, we're offering this for," they have 150K in their thing, and you're timid and you go and you're saying, "Oh, just 150K. Yeah, that's fine with me." Negotiate, be important, and let them go back and renegotiate and make money and give you money. That's what you want. They want you want money. That's it. It's a win-win. It's not no. Guys, I want you to be confident. Go out there, be confident. I know a lot of people are not confident because they don't know their thing. They are still struggling to get in. They are still starting. But you have to start strong. Learn the skill set, be strong with your skill set, Learn even just two things, master those two things, become very strong in them, and go in there, hammer about those things. There are even jobs that are specific to some of the things out there. Become so good, and when you're talking, be confident. Make you're needed. Then you know that you're needed. So that's absolutely important. You have to be you have to be very smart in your interviews, guys. There's no way to go about this. All right, so I have some comments here. Hello, Primus and everyone. That's from Helen. Thanks, Helen. Please take a sec to press the like button. Appreciate that. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, Harriet. Appreciate you. Thanks, Noel. Thanks for joining, Noel. Noel is one of our teachers. He's doing an amazing job out there in Douala, Cameroon. We appreciate you for doing that. This is very enriching and inspiring. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Please share this. We'll go in for a few more. Let me bring a few thoughts, and then we'll go in for questions. I'll be getting your questions. You can start pushing out your questions, guys. So feel free to put them on the chat section so that I can read them out and we discuss them. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the formula you use when you are in your interview stage. What formula do you use? I have this formula that I give all those I mentor and all those who are around me and those in our groups. The formula is simple. Apply for 50 jobs a day and study for 2 hours a day when you are interviewing. You so that's it, guys. That's the formula. That's the philosophy you should have. Apply for 50 jobs a day, 2 hours studies. Why do I say so? If you have to learn all those components of IT that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you cannot do it without those components. So if you have to learn all those components, you need those 2 hours. And so you need to learn about relational database management systems every day. Let's say you put on your schedule. So guys, let's draw a schedule today. Let's draw a schedule together. So I want you to have a sheet. Take a sheet, or you have a page in front of you. If you're connected from your computer, or if you're connected from your phone, you can open up a notepad in your phone. Let's draw this thing out. Let's say, all right, you're starting to interview today. Let's say you're going to the market today. As you're interviewing, we want you to apply for 50 jobs. How do you apply for those 50 jobs? On LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Glassdoor, whatever you're applying. Make sure your resume syncs. That is the same resume on Indeed, same resume on LinkedIn, same resume on Glassdoor, and so on, so that it syncs across. And go on Google and search your name. Go on Google and search your name. If you see your name showing that you're currently working as a nursing aide somewhere, and then on LinkedIn is showing that you are, those companies will Google you out and see, hey, why is this person currently working as a nursing person here? And on Google, on Indeed, you have something else. So go on those pages on Google, search for just type your name, hit enter, and see. If you will see a history of you, right? Some information about you will come up. So try to edit that information and remove anything that you see that is not consistent with what you have on your resume currently. You might have applied for jobs in the past. You might have done all those things, put your skills in your previous skills in job boards, and you've forgotten about it. They are still there. So go to Google. Very important tip. Go to Google, search your name, look at it, and go into those platforms and remove your account, and make the account current to your current skill set. Very important. All right. So it takes just 2 clicks or 3 clicks. I think on LinkedIn it takes 3 clicks to easy apply. You know, the easy apply part. So it takes just 2-3 clicks there. So you can apply 20 jobs on there a day, and on easy apply on the other one you do 20, and then you do 10 on. Most organizations have realized that applying for a job, they don't need to fill all those the long application stuff, and so the application systems have become simpler. simpler, one page, two pages, and so on. So you could use those ones to apply directly also in the websites of the organizations that you're interested in. But the easy apply is very effective too. Most organizations have realized that, and they have begun using the easy apply on Indeed and on LinkedIn. Use that. Apply for 50 jobs a day. Why are you applying for 50 jobs a day? Because there's competition now. You apply, just go on Indeed, on LinkedIn, and apply and search for maybe DevOps engineer roles or cloud architect, cloud engineering roles, and you see, hit apply on the first on the easy ones, and you see it tells you the analytics part, right? It tells you, hey, what 20 people have applied for these jobs, 50 people have applied for this. You apply. Don't, when you see that, just apply. So you want to apply for as many as possible so that your chances or the probability for you getting a chance for an interview is higher. The higher the number of jobs you apply for, the higher the probability. So you don't want to apply for 3 jobs or 5 jobs or 10 jobs a day. You're applying with 200 others, 300, 400. I've seen jobs with 500 applicants. And then you think that they will just select you. No, you will just see the reject. And some people even are taking rejections as a problem. A rejection is the sweetest email that I get. When I get a rejection, I'm like, oh my goodness, this company doesn't know the value they're missing. That you're not even valuable to hire me. You're missing out. So a rejection should be a boost for you to work harder. A rejection, when I get the first rejection, I put in 5 hours. When I get the second rejection, 10 hours. The next rejection, 20 hours on my skill set, because I want to be the best out there. You know my interview retention rate right now. When I interview for 5 jobs, there's a chance 4.5 times that I will get the job. So like if you bring me for your technical interview for the type of role I applied for, there is out of 5, 4.5 times that you hire me. In fact, that you hurry to hire me. Why? Because I've mastered the art of doing it's an art. It's not like I know I'm too tech. No, is that I've mastered the art of doing it. You have to master the art of doing this and be smart. And so apply for 50 jobs, you can get like 4, 5 out of those 55 interview or people who even want to get a discussion with you, or maybe 2, or maybe not nothing. Keep applying for the 50 because it's hard now. The industry is right now, right? A lot of people have been laid off in Amazon, Google, and people are looking for jobs. And so apply for as many. And then apply the formula of 2 hour studies a day, guys. So why do you need 2 hours a day? To keep up to date with the technologies and the skills, to mature yourself into becoming an interview expert, an interview artist. Make yourself an artist in this thing. And when I see people, they are like rejections. I got 50 rejections. I'm like, so what? Don't even look at the rejection is a rejuvenation. It should act as a catalyst to you. Because they rejected you, and so what? Even if you had a technical interview and then they reject, what? Nobody cares. They have gone. They're gone. Look forward. Look, and one other thing. Some people get a job and they're excited, and then they keep working the one job and they're comfortable, they relax. Oh, I have arrived. No, you have not arrived anywhere. You're just starting. When you have your first, keep applying and taking interviews, whether you take and get the jobs or not. You know why? Because you want to know, you want to evaluate yourself and see if you're valuable. If you are not valuable, guys, when something happens and you lose that job, that's when you discover that life is difficult. Yeah, because you get into the job market, scramble for the next 1 year, and you will not get a job. Because these jobs are very simple to do. The hard part is getting and maintaining them. It's getting them. It's simple. It's simple to do. So you can go in there, a company hires you, and you're doing just one thing for 2 years, just building EC2 instances. Sorry. I've had people who they only build EC2 instances, or they're using just S3 RDS and they are solutions architects in a company. And if you are comfortable there, what if that company fires you? What if a layoff happens? What if the company falls or collapses? I was working for a company just a few months back, and the company collapsed. Like the company, I was actually part of the team that was putting down the company, put a strategy on how to put the company out of business, out of existence, because I was in their DevOps team. What if that happens? And you are not the person, you will just get mad, right? So you have to continuously evaluate yourself. When you're even working, apply, take interviews. Even if you not accept the offer, take interviews. Or if you apply, accept. you are the mentality should be this, guys. Everybody, it's a win-win. Don't go out there and be looking for, oh, I'm senior manager. If the company decides today, they will replace. Like if you die today, tomorrow you are replaced. You're senior new manager, and so it's about make the money. You can be senior manager and they're paying you this, and another company is out there, they can pay you better and give you better opportunities. Some people tell me, oh no, growth. You grow in IT more when you transition roles quicker. If you remain in one company, yeah, you have that prestige. I've been here for 25 years, but your salary you will remain at something that's not even up to 250. But there are people who are 10 years in the industry, they're making 500, 600K. Yep. So guys, be smart. Be smart. Apply for the 2 hours. Like apply yourself to studies for 2 hours so that you become valuable. And I wanted us to draw a study timetable for those who are actively interviewing. Draw a study timetable. So I was saying, remove your notepad, your notebooks, and your whatever you want to use, and say, hey, the first days, the first 2 weeks, 2 hours every day, let's say in the evenings or whenever you are free, just put it down. You want to learn relational, you want to learn about database management systems. Break it down into 2 hours per day times 2 weeks. That is for that's for database management systems. You want to understand all about databases, how they work, SQL, how it interacts, a little bit of data modeling. Put the topics together. Pick YouTube videos. You see YouTube videos with 4 hours, 6 hours. Watch those. Put down notes. Put all of those together. Learn the different types of databases and come let us discuss. Let's put a live meeting and chat and discuss about database systems. Learn how database systems are secured, how security enforcement works, how data modeling itself works. Because an organization, before it puts all those tables, it has reasons why they are the way they are, why they are designed the way they are. Learn some concept about those. That's the first thing. Put the 2 weeks down, 2 hours every day on the particular topic. So you can Google relational database management system, training or something like that on Google. You see books, you see things and titles on it. Use those titles, put them in your thing. 2 hour studies, and then the YouTube section you put 2 hours time. Maybe the video should be about 6 hours. I've seen videos for 6 hours on Free Code Academy and some from MIT. Yeah, I've seen videos on relational database management systems from MIT. I don't know if one of the best courses I've ever had was from Boston University. I'm alumni from Boston University, and my course on database management system. Guys, that's the best course I've ever had. I don't know if the guy has it on stuff, but yeah, so you have MIT courses on there, which means you can study the same thing those who are studying MIT study. They are in YouTube free code camp, and many others. So distribute it that way. 2 hours, 2 weeks, every day. And then let's take the next thing, networking. You want to study the networking layers, the various layers in networking. Put all those protocols, the transport layer, the data layer, all those layers, put them down 2 hours for the next 2 weeks. That's 1 month. So you're done with networking, you're done with this, and then you want to put 2 weeks, 2 hours connecting the dots. So learning how those work in AWS, the things that you've learned on premise, how they work in AWS, so that you connect, you kind of finish that. Then you want to learn how servers in general work and how clusters work. So you want to learn about clusters in general, servers and containerization. You want to learn those concepts, very important concepts. These are just basic things that you need to understand. So learn those ones, put divided into sections of studies as well, 2 hours per topic as well. Could see videos, divide the videos, 2 hours per video, not per video, study for 2 hours, pause, 2 hours, pause until you finish the videos, put notes down and all that. Then you want to begin to harmonize these in the AWS environment and put your practice sessions, 2 hours per practice session per day, so that you have a structure, you're studying with a focus. And trust me, after this exercise for the next 2 or 3 months, you will not be the same person. Trust me, you'll be going into an interview and you'll be talking with you yourself, you discover that you're growing. And imagine that you do that continuously. You become very good. So that's one thing. The formula is absolutely important. 50 jobs, 2 hours studies daily. So skills that matter include what? SQL. Learn a little bit about business intelligence. AWS has tools that are business intelligence inclined. Tools, QuickSight. That's an AWS service for business intelligence. Learn how they connect, how SQL connects, how you can use SQL on Athena, how the data analytics services in AWS works, how or services in AWS work, how QuickSight works, how you can move data from S3 to QuickSight, how data can move from S3 to Redshift, and all those data, how Data Brew works, how Glue works, and how to write queries that move data from using maybe a Spark job and so on and so forth and pushes it out to another account. You encounter a lot of troubles. Bring them to us. That's why we have groups. That's why we have forums. A lot of forums out there. Just throw it in one of our forums, and we'll be right there to work with you guys. So it's absolutely important, guys, that we put these things together, learn the things that matter, learn something different, as I was saying. Learn SQL, learn business intelligence, what it's all about. There's no disadvantage for a solutions architect knowing Tableau, knowing Power BI. Those tools are absolutely necessary because you understand how, all right, when you've designed all the data things in AWS, who consumes that data? How is it consumed? You know that the Tableau developers, the business intelligence developers, they use that data to make business decisions, to build out dashboards, to build out, to build out maps and so on, so that business decision makers in organizations can use them for decision making. And so you want to understand also that part of it. That will help you with the business part of an organization, so that when somebody hires you and you're doing so well, growth becomes natural for you. Growth becomes natural. It just grow. It just you eventually just become so good. So guys, learn some of these things that are out there, and there are free tools for business intelligence like Tableau, like every they just give you the opportunities. And then know how to sell yourself. Be a boss in your interview sessions, or yeah, when you're interviewing. Be a boss. One thing I would advise people to do is know that, you know when you're going in for an interview, you, you want to be the interviewer. Put yourself in the shoes of the interviewer. This is what I'm trying to say. So be the interviewer for a moment, guys, and say, all right, if I'm out there wanting to hire a solutions architect, will I hire myself? I want you guys to do that exercise. So tell yourself, if I'm a solution, an interviewer who wants to hire a solutions architect, will I hire me? Be convinced about that and then go out to the market. Once you're convinced about that, will I hire me to be a solutions architect? So we have something. Sometimes LinkedIn keeps posting, but those jobs you had earlier applied for, how do you? Whenever you apply on LinkedIn, you see it shows they're applied. It shows applied. So even if you go there, you always filter jobs that are recent, 24 hours. So you have filters. If you don't know, Google how to apply on LinkedIn, or go to YouTube, you see a video how to filter all those things. You simply just need to search the job, and then once the jobs come, you filter per to those that are 24 hours, and you can filter more. Like you want just remote jobs, you add a filter that you're looking just for remote jobs. You can do those filters, and you get the results that you want. All right. So those are the tips I wanted to bring. There is one more tip I wanted to bring. Constantly update your resume. Constantly update your resume with the skill sets that you learn. So if you don't constantly upgrade your resume, you may keep applying for many jobs and you don't. So what you do is you want to go to the various jobs, the current jobs that are coming out, because the systems that pick out resumes that have the keywords that or recruiters are looking for, they have systems that they use. They don't go and physically look with their eyes to select resumes. No, they have software that go out there with keywords to select candidates, from a pool of candidates who have those keywords in their resumes. So when they do the initial select, then they can go through and say, hey, this one has more stuff like than the others. This is what we're looking for. So constantly update your resume. If you are active in the market, every 3 weeks you should update your resume with adding your new skill sets, and because you learn new skill set every day, and also going and looking for keywords. Go to the various job descriptions, copy those keywords, put them in your resume, and clean it up a little bit. Always change stuff. Don't keep. I see people with one resume for 1 year. What are you doing? Update every 2 weeks. Go to the job description. On the job description section where it says there's things that they want this person to do, copy them, bring them down, put those particular keywords in your thing that you've had experience in those things. It should align with your skill sets, of course. It should align with your skill sets. And don't have things in your resume that you can't defend. Have only things that you can defend. Don't put things that you won't. That's a turn off when I'm trying to hire somebody. So I was saying you have to put yourself in the place of the interviewer, asking yourself, if I am the interviewer, will I hire this person? Evaluate yourself, speak to yourself, and be honest. Right? And so that will push you to begin to study to fill up the gaps that you have currently. So for DevOps engineers, I want to challenge you. Can you get up from sleep and somebody gives you a repository and you get that working, you get that application, a repository with a completely built application, and you get that application you get it automated and it's working with a pipeline correctly set up in 5 hours? Can you do that? If you can do that, give yourself a tap. Can you do that in GitHub Actions? Because that's what is current in the market. Can you do that using Jenkins? That's the second thing. Can you push that application to ECS, to EKS, and can you deploy it also in a server? Learn how to do that. So if you are a DevOps engineer in this call, can you confidently, in 5 hours, deploy an application? Somebody gives you a repository with everything. If it's a Node.js application, or it's a Python application, or it's whatever, you have documentation everywhere that can help you. Can you deploy that application to ECS, to EKS, to to a server without needing somebody's help. If you can do that, then you are getting to where you can be hired. And do that. Pick up applications. There are so many out there. Google sample applications. Deploy them. Build pipelines for them with GitHub Actions or GitLab Actions, Jenkins, and so on. Deploy them, let them work, and access them through a web browser. And then you pull them down. Do that consecutively, and you are almost getting a job. If you are a solutions architect in this discussion, in this channel, are you able to build a GitOps solution? Are you able to are you able to build a pipeline, let's say a data pipeline, such that data flows without interruption? Are you able to connect 5 AWS accounts so that you can get data from Redshift that is in account A and run a Lambda function that processes that data and puts that data into a data lake and puts that data into a bunch of S3 buckets? I want you to do that exercise. Create 2 or 3 AWS accounts, have a Redshift cluster in one, build some tables in there, connect a script that gets that data from one Redshift account, from the Redshift account in account A, Redshift database or data warehouse, whatever, in account A, moves that data to Lambda functions. So you need to write Lambda functions. You need to create all the infrastructure, create all the connectivity. Data has to cross account access, learn it. Can you do that and use Lambda to transform the data from the format that it is in to Parquet format and put it in S3, or you transform it into CSV format? Can you do that in 5 hours? If you're an AWS solutions architect here, can you use Terraform? I'm not saying write, because there are modules out there, there are things out there that you can use. Can you use Terraform to create a database, create a server, create all of those things, and run a sample application, and it's working? Do that in 5 hours or in 10 hours, you could say. If you want to get yourself, you'll be honest to yourself, face the errors. If you are a data engineer, can you use the AWS services like SageMaker, build a SageMaker studio environment for yourself, build notebooks, use notebooks, SageMaker notebooks, or anyone you want? You can deploy a Docker container and that has an image of a notebook. You can build it yourself and put it in GitHub, or rather, sorry, in Docker Hub. Put that image in Docker Hub, pull it down, and build it up such that you can write sample machine learning stuff or sample data frames, just a bunch of tables, get data from S3, figure out, play around with the data using that notebook. Can you do that in 24 hours? Or in, sorry, 20, whatever hours, one day. Let's give it one day, all of you. If you are a solutions architect again, can you build a what? Don't know, use cases. It's hard to think of use cases. Whatever sample service is out there. Can you do that in target one day? Can you do that in one day successfully? Because I know a lot of people have studied tools, services one by one, but they are not connected. That's it's the connection organizations are looking for. It's that maturity level. Can you build a secure database, and you know all those parts of the database, such that it can fail over to another environment? Is that maturity level? Can you build a very robust, in terms of security, a very robust AWS environment? Is what organizations are looking for. They want robust systems, very secured. So when you're answering questions, actually, in when it comes to AWS, security is the most important thing. Security, security, absolutely important. So when you're designing a solution, there's no way you would not talk about security. So you talk about encryption. You're encrypting your data in transit. Encrypting your data as it moves. You're encrypting your data at rest. You talk about, because security is not just encryption, right? Security is more than that. You talk about the security groups you're building, the web application firewalls that you're building, the the networking systems that you're building. Are they secure? Are they just open to the internet? So when you're designing a solution, interviewers always ask about your general design architectures, right? How would you design an architecture? Can you what are the things that you take into consideration while designing an architecture? That's a very open question that you can turn around, you can play with. You always take into consideration scalability, security, availability, redundancy, and all that. But can you put that in practice? Right. So it's absolutely um, very important. Yeah, learn connected tools. Thanks for the techniques and encouragement. So you're welcome, Desmond. So guys, challenge yourself. Like, give yourself tasks. There are a lot of people who just keep learning things without practicing them. How can you just be doing without really, you know, putting them into practice, like hands on? You keep learning, watching videos like you're a movie person. It's not a movie. You are this is real stuff. You're not. It's not a movie theater or theater. I don't know how they call that. So it's not a movie theater, guys. So the 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 important thing is for you to practice those skill sets, put them into, try to build those pipelines, try to build Terraform environments that are automated, and discover the challenges that are behind it, and try to spend some money and have 2 or 3 AWS accounts, or you can have the same account and do your tagging differently and say this is dev, this is test, this is prod, and try to build systems that connect to those environments, and also learn the specifics of things. People are too high level. They are just top. They just touch the core things, forget about any other thing. And that's where interviewers usually get people, because they sometimes go into the nitty gritties of things. So guys, you want to be that person who really is who understands the system. So right now, right, I can do it literally any. If I put out my if I get out of jobs, you can literally apply for a DevOps role, the manager, senior manager, anything. But that concerns DevOps, director, anyone. AWS solutions architecting, senior, whatever. Data engineering, machine learning, analytics. You know I'm able to do all those? It's just because I'm inquisitive. I don't do one thing at all. I don't do one thing. But I know things in detail, and I can learn so fast. Why? Because the concepts are connected in my mind. That's all that you need, guys. There's no way I can emphasize this. Take, for instance, if you understand the concept of computing, cloud computing, and you understand the concept of big data, and you understand the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And you see how these merge and they're giving rise to all the jobs that we have out there. It is in another framework that I'm putting out there. If you see the diagram to this, to the invite to this discussion, you see that the framework that I put there. So you'll see a diagram from the traditional system of computing to where we are currently, right? To where jobs are so specific. And you see in the middle somewhere there, I put cloud computing, I put artificial intelligence up there, and I put big data and all that. So what's happening is, with the emergence of cloud computing, it broke a lot of the challenges that the traditional systems had. Traditional systems had problems with storage, and there you begin to see where big data is coming. And when the challenges of storage, compute capabilities, and all that were able to be resolved by cloud computing, the idea of big data blossomed. And as the idea of big data blossomed, artificial intelligence and machine learning blossomed. And as these blossomed, all these things, now specific things, blockchain, all of these things, um, AR, all, the new tech, they are beginning to be so specific. They are beginning to just blow out. Why? Because now with cloud computing, you are able to have storage capabilities that scale at large, that scale so much, so that people, you can literally store any type of data that you want. You can store any type of data that you want. And so big data, organizations have begun making value out of data because they can store that data and they can process it to get value out of it. And now you begin to hear of data is the new gold. Data is the new oil, and so on, right? Why? Because organizations are able to use that data and process it. So data has become so valuable for organizations. And you need to learn strategies to secure that data, because you have data that is PII, personal identifiable information. You have data that has things that need to be really secured. And so you have to learn strategies to secure. If you don't know how to secure that data, if you don't know how to harness that data, if you don't know how to, as a solutions architect, know how to store that data, strategies to store that data, ways to manage that data, ways to protect that data, you'll be a useless solutions architect. Nobody will want to hire a useless solutions architect. And so you see the concept is growing. And so you have so many jobs that are AWS inclined or that are cloud inclined. Just within AWS, you have so many things you can do: DevOps engineer, solutions architect, cloud engineer, system admin, all of those roles. And then you can also have focus: big data engineer, artificial intelligence engineer, and so on. And so you begin to see how the roles are sprouting out. Why? Because of cloud computing concept, big data concept, artificial intelligence, as a result of breaking the gaps of traditional computing systems. And now the compute power is so much. When it comes to compute, there are different concepts: serverless and non-serverless. And so from the serverless section, you can become a guru in serverless. And that's a niche for you guys. You can become a guru in, artificial intelligence. You have ChatGPT. If you understand the concept of machine learning and very well, and you understand how models work, how data is trained, all that, you will not be fantasizing. You will not join the crowd in just thinking that ChatGPT is the solution that has come to just blow off every job. You not join that fantasy group that is just thinking that artificial intelligence has come to just make humans go to. So guys, there's a structure to everything, and the structure has opened up opportunities for us, right? And so you want to be specific in your skill set. You want to really be good. But if you understand how all of these things work, you are able, therefore, to quickly get up to speed with the specifics. So you are able to understand. If you understand the general concept, you're able to make use of big data tools in AWS. For instance, Elastic MapReduce. For instance, many others. The serverless part of MapReduce, right? EMR in AWS. Now you can build batch processing jobs. You can do stuff. And companies, like we have companies whose things are only moving data refineries from different systems, different Hadoop systems to AWS. And you will be a valuable candidate if you know EMR and if you know how to build an automated process in EMR. You will be valuable. There are companies who are moving out of SDP, who are moving out of different systems and coming to AWS because of course, the value that AWS has and other cloud solutions have. So if you're an expert in some of those things, guys, you'll be a killer right there. All right, I've talked a lot. Can you guys put a few questions for those who have questions? Any questions, please put them on the chat section so that we can answer. We'll be leaving in 15 minutes. Uh, and also don't forget to give us the subscribe buttons there. Hit the subscribe buttons, guys, and put your comments, put the likes, guys, while we wrap up here. And also drop us your questions. If you have any questions, any concerns. I see we still have 17 persons. We've had up to 25 at some point. I love it, guys. Thanks so much for joining us in this live session. This is my first YouTube live session. Hopefully, we'll have another session coming up if you guys deem it necessary. And so please leave us your questions. If you have any specific questions, we can answer them for you. I see. Thanks for the techniques. Yes, thanks, Desmond, Uriel. Learn connected tools. Yes, we have to learn connected tools, guys. Learn to connect the dots in tools, right? It's absolutely important. Let's see if there's any other thing. Very interesting. Thanks, Maria. 100%. All right. Any questions? Please let us know. Put the questions in the chat section here, and we'll be going out in a moment. So we've talked about, just to wrap up, we've talked about skills or how you talk about yourself in an interview when asked. We've learned strategies to study and prepare for your interviews. We've learned about the core things to learn in when you're preparing for interviews. You've learned strategies to manage an interview. You have to be composed. You have to have stickers, your cheat sheets. ChatGPT is one of your cheat sheets, and don't be afraid to use it. We've learned about we've given tasks, right? We've given you tasks to do. Evaluate yourself. Give yourself, as a solutions architect, build the pipelines that we talked about. As a DevOps engineer, challenge yourself 5 hours or 10 hours or one day and build pipelines, working pipelines, deploy applications for yourself, go through the challenges and see where you're lacking and build on it. We've given a sketch kind of schedule for studies. And I think we've talked about a couple of things. Any other thing you guys want us to talk about, can drop it in the comment section. If not, I'll be closing this chat in a moment here. These really valuable insights. Thanks, Uriel. I appreciate it. If you have any comments or any questions, please just put it in the chat so that I can pick them up now before we close out here. Any questions, any comments? If not, I'll just close out early. We've been here for an hour, 48 minutes. That's amazing. That's a long time. I didn't know I can talk for long because I have a delicate voice, I would say. All right, I don't see any questions coming up. If you have any questions, you can throw them in. Please share this video afterwards. When I end, it will be available soon. Please just share the videos with your guys who are interviewing or in interview groups so that others can, if they can benefit from this, they can use this opportunity to learn. And then in the next days or in the next weeks, we should be having some live sessions in our group, Zoom sessions, live Zoom sessions, to really interview people who indicate those who are interested in interviews. So we can really just interview them, and real life interviews. So you see the techniques where you are and all that. All right. And also we have a DevOps class that is starting tomorrow at Primus Learning. So for those who are interested, you can sign in our DevOps class. We hold classes 7 p.m. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And this session is going to be amazing. So we have the best instructors, and we have all the support you need. Um, Please reach out to us at 240-486-1313, or contact at primuslearning.org. I'll just put our contact information here, so that contact at primuslearning.org. And also my phone number is 240. I'll not put it out there, but I'll just say it out: 240-486-1313. Reach out to us, guys, and we're able to put you together in that program. How do you connect your tools? I've been learning them separately. Exactly, by building, Emil, you connect your tools by building um, those pipelines, right? Like, okay, you've learned S3, you've learned Lambda, you've learned RDS, you've learned Redshift. And so what? Connect them together. Use a Lambda function that gets data from S3 and put it in Redshift, or process that data and put it somewhere else, and use a quick site to do a little kind of visualization on that data. That's a whole pipeline you've built. Make that a seamless process. That will take you a lot of effort to do, but that's worth it. That's how you connect Lambda, S3, Redshift, and QuickSight together. If you're a DevOps person, get an application out there, whether it's built in Python, Java, or Node.js, or whatever. Connect, put it in your version control system, deploy that application to AWS. It could run in an EMR cluster, not EMR, an EKS cluster, or it could run in a server in AWS. By doing that, you're connecting IAM because you build a role to create that cluster. You're connecting EKS. You're connecting networking because it will be in a VPC. You're doing a pipeline using GitHub Actions, or using Jenkins. Those are tools that you're connecting together. So connecting the tools together is all about building, like, making them work as a whole system, not as disconnected system. So the tools help you to do something, and the organizations are not just using the tools because they want to use them. They're using them because they're connected, and they help solve something for them. They help make a complete system. You can even build yourself a system using I was talking about this the other day. Like, you form a transcribe business for yourself, right? You build a project where you get data, or get videos that come in. They could come in as videos or audios and so on. You build a script, a Python application behind it. It processes those videos that are coming in, like, build them automatically, transcribe them automatically to words, and build another, maybe use a machine learning algorithm, or model that gets in and cleans out the JSON format from the real text in the transcription, and then uploads the transcription to a website. You can build a simple website for yourself using whatever tools, deploy that into EKS or whatever, right? Such that once a video drops in S3, there is a process that kickstarts using an S3 event, or whatever notification system you want to use, and then a Lambda function runs, which is a Python using Boto3, which is Python SDK for Python in AWS. You use that Boto3 library to get that data transformed or transcribed by the AWS transcribe service, and you drop that service back in another bucket from where your users in your website will be able to fetch that data. So you create a business for yourself where you have a website, people come to transcribe their things. They drop a video, and the output is transcribed words That's a business you can build. It's a free business right there. That's you connecting systems together. There are people who literally, I'm very sure there are companies out there that do this kind of thing, but you can do it and market it a different way. I'm sure there are people in China, in China, any country, Asia, in different places who want to transcribe their things from that language to English, or vice versa, from English to Chinese. You can do that, or from English to other languages. That's a whole business right there. You can have a whole project for yourself and do that. All right, so get whole project from YouTube and practice. Yes, yes, yes. That's it. Get projects and practice. Um, how do you connect your tools? I've been okay. So yeah, that's. I think that's it. Any other question? Yeah, you could. There are so many projects in YouTube. Yeah, that's right. EIN busy. EIN busy. So there are a lot of projects on YouTube that you can really just practice with, and online as well on Google. Go to ChatGPT and ask questions, prompts. It'll give you some information on repositories, on things to practice tools that you can use. AWS has a lot of projects on all these services that we're mentioning, guys. A lot of them, and we always share them in our platforms. We always share the links. We always share free resources that you can use. Actually, we have a lot of resources here on our channel as well. You can always make use of them. When we post them, some people take them for granted, but they are important. They have the reasons why we're posting, guys. All right, so we're coming to the end of this. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it. If you loved this session, please give us a thumbs up on the chat section there. Give us a thumb up. Subscribe to our channel. Share this, guys. I want to see the thumb ups. If this was good, leave us a comment, guys. I want to hear you say it. Give us a comment. How was the session? If you loved it, what you would like us to discuss in our next session, please drop us the comments. I'm looking. No comments yet coming in. I still have 17 people in here, guys. So drop us the comments, and we'll talk about these again in our next session. I really appreciate you joining. It was awesome doing 2 hours talking and talking and talking. And I think my voice is getting getting stronger. I used to have a very weak voice, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I'm not seeing the comments coming in. Give us the thumbs up in the comments, and see you again, guys, in another session. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye. My name is Primoz Veku from Primoz Learning. Yay, I see them coming in. Thanks, Uriel.